Good morning, beloveds. So, yeah. Oh, I say good morning, and it's actually good evening. It is 6:30 at night, and while my title says the 14th, it's actually the 15th. This is me trying to catch up. Um, I had my other eye surgery done yesterday, and this eye is healing actually much better and much faster than the left eye. Apparently, my left eye's kind of lazy. So he seems to think that there may be something that we can do about that later on. I'm not that worried about it right now, as long as I can see, and I can. Um, I watched Scooby Doo yesterday just because, and then, today we watched a couple of the Expedition Unknowns, and I can read the, what's it called on my phone or on my TV, the closed caption, which is really cool. So, however, I now have these wonderful things called reading glasses, because I gave up my near vision. So, you'll get to see these. So now I really do have the librarian look. But, all right. So what I'm doing is September 14th, when the rains come down. The first quote is, "Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God." And this is 1 Thessalonians 5:16 through 18. The next one is, "To pray without ceasing is to doubt never, but to always trust in the law of good." And that is Science of Mind, page 497. As students of the science of mind, we learn to trust that God is always taking care of us and that our every need is already met. Recently, an event occurred which proved to me the truth of this teaching. My husband and I were spending Christmas in the Mississippi Valley, and the rain was pouring down. When the time to go home arrived, we set out in our rental car towards the airport some miles away. But then the car began to malfunction, and we pulled into what was advertised on the roadway signs as the last rest stop in Missouri. There was a public phone at the rest stop, and my husband telephoned his car rental office, catching them just as they were closing the office for the day. He returned to our car, saying calmly, "I know we're all taken care of." Indeed, we had a heater we could turn on and a radio to listen to. We could wait in comfort. An hour and a half later, a tow truck arrived from St. Louis, and we were delivered to a hotel, warm and dry. We fully realized our incredible luck as we rode towards St. Louis, for there was not one town service station or public phone for the entire distance. If we hadn't pulled into that rest stop when we did, we would have been stranded on an open freeway. As it was, we truly did feel taken care of. We had simply trusted that everything would be all right, and it was. We had an excellent dinner and a good night's rest before we boarded our plane the next day, arriving home safely. I know that I am watched over and cared for each and every day. I rest in the assurance that God knows my every need and is meeting those needs now. Now, here's the thing. This is done by AD, and AD is the one practitioner or minister who's not listed in the credits. So I don't know who AD is. And it's interesting to read that story and realize that it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to relate to that, and yet it's easy to relate to that because we live in the era of cell phones now. So, but we've all had those times when things have gone wrong, and then we're left with, okay, like, I'll give you an example with Hurricane Harvey. When Hurricane Harvey was attempting to make landfall, I put my husband on an airplane. He got stranded in North Carolina because obviously all of the airports in Houston were closed and there was no way for him to come home. And here I am during a hurricane by myself. But it was fine. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep for the couple of days that the storm really raged through. But my power only blinked twice. I had power the entire time. which meant I had my TV so I could watch that. Since I had power, I could keep my cell phone charged. So we were in Tom and I were in constant contact. And the airlines took good care of him. His plane was delayed getting out. It was delayed landing, and they got him connecting flights and got him to where he needed to be. So, and they rebooked him on the flights home, and when they rebooked him to fly into Austin, I found somebody who could pick him up in Austin and bring him back to Houston. And he called the airlines and said, can you get me into Houston? Which then he was able to get to Houston, and we were able to get somebody who could pick him up at the airport, because at that time I wasn't available to pick him up at the airport. So it's like, it all works out. If it's not one way, it's another. And that's one of the things about trusting, and not getting too fixated on the way it has to be. It has to be this way. When we do that, when we narrow the ways that Spirit can bring our good to us, when we limit them, I should say, when we limit that by specifying it can only come this way, then we don't recognize the other ways that can happen. Like when he told me that the airline had booked him back to fly back to, bless you, the cat sneezed. When the airline had booked him to fly back to Austin. Well, that's not a big deal because his sister lives in Austin. He could have spent the night with her. And I happened to have had a conversation with a friend sometime and knew she was going to be in Austin that weekend. So she could have easily have picked him up in Austin and brought him back. It wasn't a big deal. So it's those little things that we want to be aware of when the rains come down. It's like there are times that things happen, and when they happen, it really is up to us to look for the good, to look for the little good, because those little goods can end up being really big goods that we wouldn't have had if we weren't open to them. So no matter what happens, we will be taken care of. And when we're open to the multiple and infinite ways that Spirit can bring us our good, then things like that can happen. You can catch the car rental place right before it closes, or you can catch a tow truck, or even just recently, Tom walks out of, he stopped at my store to visit with my boss because he's friends with Betsy's son, and he walked out and he went, he saw a puddle under his car. He was like, this is a problem. Well, his water pipe had gone out, and they were able to diagnose it that night, and they were able to find a water pump relatively quickly, and so it didn't cost us an arm and a leg. And it meant, and I was able to pick him up. I was able to take him to work, run and do what I needed to do. I came home, and when they called him and said, hey, your car's ready, he was able to leave work a little early so that he could, we could go pick his car up. Otherwise, we were going to have to go get it on Monday, knowing that I was, so it all got taken care of. And even the car dealer was surprised that they found a water pump that fast. So it's like, you know what? Let Spirit trust Spirit to take care of you in those interesting ways. All right. Yeah, I don't know. And I'll give you progress reports on how this because just sitting here, I can see that my vision is better than it was. So it's been interesting. And he's really thrilled with how well my right eye is healing. And I'm just assuming that it's because I knew what I was getting into. I knew what I was expecting, and I had the one good eye. This one wasn't as much of a trauma as that first one was. Because you see, it's the day after, and I'm not wearing the shield. I just have to wear it when there's a possibility I might fall asleep. So I don't rub my eye while I'm asleep. So I have to sleep in it, but and I didn't get yelled at for not having it on in the doctor's office because I was wearing my sunglasses, but that eye is still just a hair dilated. Yeah. He called me the Mad Hatter yesterday. It was pretty funny. Okay, so, point being, good happens. And it happens a lot. And it happens in amazing and unexpected ways. And that's what we want to be open to. So I would tell you that the mission for September 14th is exactly that. To be open to good happening in interesting and unusual and unexpected ways. The mission is not to limit spirit. Really, honestly. And that is always the mission. Okay. So that's the mission. The second mission is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. Today, that was cute reading glasses. But I'm only allowed to wear them for half an hour in half an hour chunks. And then I have to rest my eyes, which is fine because my eyes get tired anyways. I'm just like, I don't think you have to worry about the half an hour chunks. I'm not going to go read War and Peace tonight. Nope, I'm tired. But it also looks like taking a deep breath before you speak. It looks like taking a nap. It looks like taking a walk. It looks like taking a couple of days off to rest and heal. If you're fascinated by all the stuff going on with the Queen in England, take some time and really dig into that. We've been living in unprecedented times for the last couple of years. This is just one more thing. This is a historic moment in the history of the world. So if that is a loving, kind, compassionate thing for you to really dig in and learn about that, do it. All right. I also, as I do, I encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. The cat's being silly. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. I don't know that I've had enough water. No. Yes, I have. I've had more water today. I didn't have enough water yesterday, I don't think. To get that early in your day bright light. My day's been a little bit off because, I turned my alarm off yesterday and I'm going to turn it off again tomorrow. And then we'll see about Saturday. Do I go to the park? Do I not go to the park? I don't know. But I am doing that early in the day, bright light. And as always, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time because it's an inside out job. You connect with the source of your own being. You fill up on that sense of heaven, and then you bring that sense, that love, that peace, that joy, that happiness, all of those God qualities that are within you, you bring them into your outside world. You create your own heaven around you. And that includes, choosing the people that are around you. So take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. All right? That quote is, by the way, from Ernest Holmes about heaven. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you to live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you. That's a quote from Ernest. It was from, I don't know if it was from this 365 or from the book Richer Living. I don't remember. I would say, you'd have to go back and see, did I start saying it before I switched books or after? Because I don't know. But it's true. Happiness is an inside out job. All right. We are on all of the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I'd encourage you to check out all that content. As I understand it, we do have a soul session coming up. So I'm super excited about that. What are you doing? Cat. And if you want to know what's going on, including about the soul session that's coming up, email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact and will let you, it'll get you hot links. And the hot links are hot. You click them and it'll take you right to the thing you want to know about. So, have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a wonder-filled day, a day of healing, a day of resting, a day of restoring your eyesight. And that can be taken in multiple ways, not just physically eye surgery, or cute reading glasses. a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. I don't know what I was about to say. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented, always and forever. Please remember that. All right? I will say it every day because it's true. Every day, it's a state of grace. So, I know Reverend David's overseas and still managing to do this at 5. So I have one more to catch up. I have today's to catch up. We'll see if I can manage it tonight. I'll do another one of these and get tonight's done. Otherwise, I might do today's in the morning and then do tomorrow's later in the afternoon. So one of these days you're going to get two. I don't know. Now that I have fancy reading glasses so that I can read, because I asked. I waited until I went to the doctor's office to ask for permission to get them. And he said, okay, but half-an-hour chunks. My phone has become an enigma. Like text messaging. So if you get weird text messages from me, it's because I don't have my glasses. But it's all good. So, and I also forgot to find out when I can go back to driving. So, I'm going to have to call the doctor's office tomorrow. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time, whenever that is.